Welcome everyone to a video which is a little bit different to a lot of my other videos. So, if you're only into sort of mod videos, this is probably not going to be the video for you. This is a little bit of a cheesy video in a way, a little bit sort of heartfelt, but it's all about the reasons on why I bought this car. It's just something that I think since I knew I was going to be doing the channel and buying the car, I wanted to sort of, express the reasons why I got this car. So I'm not too sure how long it's going to last, but, feel free to pause the video now, get yourself a drink, and if you want to hear everything I've got to say, then I really do appreciate that. I really do appreciate people taking the time to sort of listen to what I've got to say. And also comment, any feedback is always really appreciated on the channel. And also, maybe let me know your sort of stories on why you bought your car. Maybe it's not the Fiesta ST, it might be a different car. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to have to rewind quite a bit really to why I bought this car. It was not a random purchase at all. And it wasn't just about buying a car to modify either. Going back quite a long way now, I think this was back to sort of 2007, 2008, I actually really wanted, it was going to be my second car that I'd ever bought with my own money, and I really wanted to think faster. I'm going to do a slightly different video on all my car history, so keep an eye out for that, but this was going to be my second car. I wanted to think faster, I wanted to think fun, exciting, I was in a job after uni, I was earning some money and I really wanted something, and I had my eye on two different cars. One of them was at the time, the brand new Corsa VXR, the 1.6 turbo, and I loved it in the Ardent Blue. But it was really expensive because it only just come out, and around that time there was a couple of videos, one on Top Gear, one on Fifth Gear. Fifth Gear did this car, I think it was with the Mitsubishi Colt, I think it was at the time, sort of very similar cars with power to weight ratio, etc. But Fifth Gear loved the fact that even though this wasn't that fast, it was the handling that just actually won it on the day. And on Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson to me is like the Bible of cars. Honestly, I really sort of listen to what he's got to say. I love his reviews. And when he did the review with Richard Hammond with the Citroen C2, this car, it wasn't hands down the winner, but it did win. That wasn't also the thing. But when I saw it, it was blue with racing stripes. I was just like, oh my God, that car is mint. And, it was this little kind of rally looking car, it had a big 2-litre engine in it. It was quite fast. And eventually I was just like, right, that's the car for me. I was looking for a second-hand one, so I was able to get one a bit cheaper. And what came up was, I'm going to show some pictures now, probably from when I bought it, which was I got a 2006, which is funnily enough the same age as this car. It was a diamond blue, diamond white, not the frozen white, which a lot of people say and that are rare. I don't think so, because at the time I had a diamond white, which was the very first white that came out. And I think they only did about a year production of that in that white colour. So it wasn't the pure white. It had a slight little yellowness to it in certain lights. But I had that with the full blue racing stripes kit on it, so I just thought it was the bee's knees. Honestly, the amount of attention that car got at the time was just amazing. If you think about even today, you don't really get them, but they've kind of gotten out of fashion. But I absolutely loved that car. It was my rally car. I just fell in love with it, absolutely fell in love with it. Straight away I was like on the Fiesta ST owners clubs. You didn't have all these Facebook groups that you do now. It was just the Fiesta ST OC. And I was a big part of that. The scene was growing, this was like the mid to late 2000s. We're going to all sorts of car meets in it, getting ideas, spending loads of money at the time, everything I had. I was in my early 20s. All I wanted to do was spend money on the car. And I was just modding it and falling more and more in love with it. Now, this is when the story gets quite cheesy, and I appreciate everyone who actually has been listening to this. I hope it isn't too boring, but I just want to sort of, vent everything that's in my head, and I think it's sort of really nice to tell everyone. But yeah, at the time, it's a bit cheesy, a bit of a sad story. During the time when I had the car, my dad passed away. And at the time it didn't really hit me that he did, and I was quite young, I was in my early 20s. I know that's not that young to a lot of people, but it was a big shock. But I think it was more subconsciously. It didn't really affect me at all. I sort of took it with ease. And I was just concentrating on the car, and that's what gave me sort of my pleasure really, was I didn't care, I didn't have any girlfriend. I just had my job, my car, some money. That's all I wanted to do. Go for drives, mod the car, go to meets. That was my life. But I think somewhere along the line, I lost my head a bit. And I don't know exactly why. I put the car, I thought I'm going to get rid of the car. I'd spent thousands on it and it was looking awesome. I'd done so much to it. I'd done pretty much all the engine mods you could do back then, unless you wanted to supercharge or turbocharge the car. It had it at Jam Sport, it had everything. It had K&N air filter, it had the 60mm throttle body, it had Cosworth cams, it had a full 4:1 Miltech resonated exhaust, and it had a custom remap as well, which was done at Jam Sport. It was running about 190 horsepower, and I think it was 166 foot-pounds, it was pretty decent, really good figures for back then, you know. It was probably sort of one of the more faster sort of, you know, STs that were around. And I spent all sorts as well. I had like custom wheels made, Revolution Millenniums, I think they were called, which, you know, you just don't really see now. I had all the plastics redone, the car was lowered, it had brakes all done, hoses. Oh, I mean, I'd done all sorts of bits on the interior, not loads, but a few gloss black plastic things, bit of leather here and there. Yeah, absolutely. And I washed that car every weekend. Like I said, it was my thing. I didn't care about anything else. Didn't care about going out and finding a girlfriend, wife, or anything like that. It was just me in the car. Anyway, I sort of digressed a little bit there. But yeah, I think I lost my way a little bit and I went and sold the car. And I don't know why. It's like I pushed myself to sell it. I don't know if it was like some sort of... I don't know. I really don't know what it was. It was like I had some sort of guilt in me, and it was like I had to get rid of this pleasure of my car. And I really don't know why. Everyone was telling me, like my brother, my family, brother-in-law, everyone knew how much I loved that car and how much I spent on it, how much time I spent with the car. And they were like, why are you selling it? I was just like, oh, you know, I want something new, something. But I think deep down, I knew I was making the wrong decision. And so basically, ever since then, I've had all sorts of cars. I've had faster cars, I've had brand new cars. I had the brand new Fiesta ST3, so really high spec at the time in 2015. And I've had a Bath, I've had an Alfa Romeo. I thought I'm going to fill that gap. You know, no one's a car enthusiast unless you've owned an Alfa. Again, quoted from Clarkson. You know, I did like all these cars, maybe slightly loved them. But every time I had these cars, I was always comparing them back to my MK6 Fiesta ST. And not one of them compared. I didn't care if they were faster or maybe looked better, like more modern or fancy. Like, you know, the Alfa had a bit more flair. I always used to think it's just not as good as my Fiesta ST. And so I don't know if people thought I was a little bit mad, but sort of during the lockdown, the last car I had at the time, which I posted on Instagram, I'll put some pictures up now, was a Fiat 500 Abarth in Campovolo grey. Now, it looked really nice. I did spend some money on it, not loads, but it had loads of problems, loads of Italian problems on it. And at the time, we bought it not that cheap, but yeah, you know, its value had gone down and it wasn't worth repairing. So at the time, me and my wife, at that point, we used the money, sold that car, and actually got the Kia Sportage as our family one. And we had my wife's older Fiesta at the time, but I sort of was saying how I wanted something fun again. It was the lockdown, I'd saved up some money, and I was like, you know what, this is it, I'm going to bite the bullet. I want to go back and buy the car that I fell in love with, and I really want it, and I don't ever want to make that mistake again of getting rid of it. I do not want to do that. So she agreed, we sold the Fiesta, and basically for the price we got for that, we were able to buy the car I'm in now. And I really wanted a different look. I thought, you're never going to have the same as what you used to have, so I didn't want the white with blue stripes, I didn't want white. I didn't want red, because my Fiesta ST3 was the race red. So I thought, I want to do something that I've not done before, which is like an all-black look. And so I sought out for a nice example. I wanted this thing with lowish miles because I knew I wanted to keep this car for a long time, so I didn't want anything with close to 100,000. I got this for 63, I think it was 62 at the time, but now it's creeped over 63 something. But that's, I think, still low mileage for a 2006 car. And yeah, so that's the main sort of reason for buying this car, really, was sort of everything I've said before. To me, this car means more than I think if I was sat in a Lamborghini right now. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the Lambo, I'm sure it is much nicer inside, its value, its speed. But I'm not one of these people who goes really on track days. Now, I might go on some track days, but my aim was to make this car over the years. This isn't a quick mod thing. You know, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to do everything and then sell the car in 18 months from start to finish, like a lot of people do, and like I've done in the past, this isn't going to be the case. I've already done a lot on the car, and I've actually already spent thousands, believe it or not, on this car. I've spent a lot on the interior. I've done quite a lot on the engine bay. I've pre-bought stuff for the exterior, which will be coming up. But my plan is, this is nowhere near the quality that I want this car to be at a certain stage. I think it might take up to a few years, personally, to sort of get it to a really, really mint high standard. Now, I do think by the end of this year, it is going to be much nicer than when I first bought it. So I'll end up doing probably a 12-month video before and after. You know, I'm loving some of the stuff I've got on the interior. I love these seats. I love the steering wheel. Stereo looks cool. The lighting from Mods and Flocks is great. The engine bay is starting to look really, really nice. Now, it does need more doing, but I think the only way to get any further with making that look ridiculously good is in the future. I'll probably take it to somewhere where they can take the engine out, maybe strip it down a bit, clean it, and at the same time maybe spray some of the parts on it to make it really nice and look quite new and fresh. But I think for what I've done up to now, it makes it look really nice, and it's decent enough to, you know, have the bonnet open at some shows, show everyone the bits I've bought, and also it's been great content for the channel, especially the interior. And that is one of the big things I really wanted with this car, was to sort of show people what you can do with a slightly older car. Now, I know it's not massively old, but, you know, it's getting up to 17 years old, and it's not modern anymore. You know, that's why I've put stuff like the touchscreen in. You know, they're more modern things compared to the old, like, analog look of the old one. You know, the lights were that old green. They're all nice and blue with the red touches. You know, I'm bringing in materials into this car which didn't exist, like Alcantara and the leather, this nice brand new leather. You know, the gold stitching, the sort of colour stitching. I've done flocking, but funnily enough, I'm going to be changing some of those things to some of the materials because I wasn't massively happy with them. You know, I'm going to be treating the door cards to some leather and Alcantara at some point. We're having some hydro-dipped carbon fibre. Real carbon fibre is going to be on the inside of this car and a little bit on the outside. You know, so stay tuned for all this. There's just so much in my head that I want to do. Now, also, I'm really excited for when I get the headlights done as well. You know, that's going to really sort of facelift the car. Yeah, I just really want to make this a forever car, something that I can be really proud of, take to shows, and also maybe, you know, had my son last year, and you know, God knows what will happen in the future, but I always think that it would be so cool that, you know, if I had this car and it was such a good condition, it was maybe garaged, and I could hand it down as a thing to my son, who could then take care of it. You know, it's just a weekend toy. And yeah, you know, that's my plans for this car. I think I actually, funnily enough, had someone comment once on one of my videos and said, oh, would you sell this car? And the answer is no, a big fat no. I would not sell this car. You'd have to offer me a lot of money because it's kind of priceless to me nearly now. Sort of time I've spent on it, I've got to learn it a lot more. It's little niggles, it's little touches that I don't like, but, you know, they will be addressed. So yeah, I'd have to be offered a lot because of my plans for the car to keep it and do it up. Apologies for the fact this has been a really long video. I think I'm going to wrap it up now. But I really do appreciate it if you have taken the time to sort of sit and listen to this. I know it's rare to sort of have watched the whole video, and I'm sure you haven't. You've been skipping like mad. I'm sure you have. I would probably do the same. But it's getting it from here onto the screen to you to listen to, and just to sort of vent, really. During this lockdown, you know, it's been quite hard. You know, it's only been really me, my wife and my son. And but I've had all you guys listening and watching my videos, commenting. I like this interaction, and I wanted to vent this to someone. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll end the video there. Let me know what you think of everything that I've said. You know, please comment below, like the video as always, it's great. Share the channel, really appreciate it. Probably don't really share the videos, I'm sure you don't, but you know, if you think people might be interested on maybe some of the forums or friends or whatever who are into the cars, you know, yeah, share away, really appreciate it. And yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video as well. And I'll end with, yeah, it's Happy Easter. I'm doing this actually on Easter Sunday. I'll try and upload the video maybe tomorrow, which will be Monday if I can, or if not early in the week. So hope you did have a good Easter weekend. I think we had some good weather, well we did anyway in England, actually slightly burnt yesterday. Okay everyone, I look forward to the up and coming mod videos, and I hope you are as well. So thank you all for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.